Welcome to our little online training about soul-aligned relationships.
Relationships radically redesigned.
Yeah, so what we've noticed is we've been working with people, and a lot of people right now, they're going through a major awakening, exciting times. There is so much going on worldwide on every level. It seems like there's a huge shift happening, and the relationship patterns as our parents knew them are not working anymore. So questionable if they ever worked, but let put that aside. But so we were wondering and investigating in how can we be of service? How can we help people shift smoothly into this new paradigm without too many bumps, I guess.
Yeah, so that's what's happening. The shift that people are feeling, this turbulence and this energy moving is really, we're drastically, radically shifting from old paradigm to new paradigm. So our parents and even our friends, we've been really indoctrinated in old paradigm living and stories, and now it's time to blast through that. We're really kind of destroying old paradigm really and moving into this new paradigm way of being, which is infinitely freer and pretty amazing. and really, if we know it or not, it's what everybody's looking for, it seems.
And it's not like it's a black and white, like yesterday old paradigm, today new paradigm. That, I think, is what the confusion is about. Because it's just like it's moving in, and it's moving in regardless whether we float or surf, whatever, with it,
or
the
like
wave,
it, or
if we struggle and fight against it, it is happening, But it is in many places, I'd say people are still totally functioning on the old paradigm rules and regulations and restrictions. And then there's other people, and that's where we come in, and we've noticed for years now how this energy is moving in, and we've been opening up to this energy and actually offered ourselves up as vessels for this message that this is coming through, so we can actually be of service and we can help people to move into this new reality that we are experiencing already, and that is in transition time right now.
And I want to add that if you, I think we know a lot of people who have been really struggling with this shifting of energy, or maybe just their own reality, the situations that they find themselves in. And what I have experienced is really resistance to the change. So sitting in old paradigm bathwater,
Well, bathwater in itself is not bad, but it's kind of lukewarm by now.
Old paradigm bathwater, it's not very, it's kind of murky. It's really a lot of old stuff. And if we're in that without much awareness, we might be really resisting the shift, the change, the things that are coming, because not all of it is explainable. It makes us nervous, but that resistance is really happening because we're stuck, because we're not agreeing to move forward, because we're not consciously embracing our power, coming into self-empowerment and moving into this new space and time with awareness. So that's what we're really here to help you with.
So that being said, let's dive into
do it.
Our shifts that are necessary in our experience. We've been working with this now for just about 20 years, and so we've really took some very, very deep dives into into who we are, what our soul's about, what imprint is about, what codes we are carrying, and how we can use that to experience a relationship that is profound, intimate, exciting every day, on a long-lasting level, not just for a couple days.
Or a few months or a few years. Long-lasting. This is really yeah, this is what I'm really so blessed to be a part of. And this deep dive that he's talking about is really also this deep dive into wild, wide open space where everything is new, everything is possible. And that's what we're going to get into right now. So some really powerful steps. We start there? Really
totally.
Powerful
Let's
steps
just do it, yeah.
that we can take. So we're just going to give you, really, it's a broad overview. There are so many parts that you can dive into and get really specific with. But giving this broad overview, we're going to give you some steps that are really crucial to coming into your own soul alignment so that you can be out in the world and connect really divinely, really deeply, really authentically with that one that you've been waiting for. Or maybe you're with that one, but how to connect even deeper. So this is really, we're starting out talking about soul alignment here. So number one is you as creator. This is probably the first most important step, is that that you discover that you are the creator of your reality. Now, that doesn't fly with everybody, but it's the way it is. So you as creator, when you discover this and when you start to embrace it, you come into your empowerment. This is where you discover you are calling the shots. You are creating every moment of your life, consciously or unconsciously. Really often, when we're not enjoying ourselves, we're creating our lives unconsciously.
Let's just some of you guys might be familiar with that, but I guess even the people that have a intellectual knowledge of that we are the creators and fully empowered, like in the everyday kind of life, like you turn on the news or somebody tells you something terrible, we move right back into victim mode. So let's just settle there and sit there with that for a moment and just breathe in the energy of, hey, I am actually in charge of my experience. I am actually the driver in my seat. I can actually make decisions. That is powerful. That is extremely powerful.
I'm just sitting in it with you right now. That's not victimhood, is it? That's really, that's empowered.
Life is not happening to you.
Life is happening through you. Yeah.
Powerful. Major transformation. And even though, like I say, you might have a certain understanding of that, that alone can take a while, depending on where you're at, to really embody that and to really, on a cellular level, understand, not just here in your head. Because we see that a lot of people oh yeah, sure, that's how it is. And the next moment, they say oh, but my stupid boyfriend left me, and it's just he was such a jerk, we're okay, so on some level you have the idea that you are empowered. But then if you say your stupid boyfriend left you, you can stage yourself as a victim, which is totally okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But you're giving your power away, that you actually created this situation. And that's what we love.
And that you have a lot of living, a lot of opportunity, a lot of immense expansion available to you through this situation that you've created. Through every situation that you have created for you in your life as creator. So this is coming back to the law of attraction. So law of attraction is something that maybe many of you know about, and it's a really beautiful concept and tool to be aware of and to really practice. The law of attraction is basically saying that the energy that you put forth is what you will attract back to you. So when you're in situations that aren't so pleasing, it always, universal law has something to do with energy that is inside of you, that you are emanating out. It's never separate from you. That bad experience out there is never just accidental or separate from you. It's always coming from here.
Or the wonderful, the yummy experience.
Or the wonderful, yummy experience. So really, Everything that you are attracting into your life is somehow a reflection of the reality that lives within you. And when we do this unconsciously, we feel out of control and we feel like a victim. But when we do it consciously, we start to really step into that empowerment role, and we start to create the life of our dreams. We start to allow real intimate flow into our lives, flow that matches us, matches our essence, matches our frequency. There's a lot more to that, but that's a basic understanding that through law of attraction, you're creating your reality.
So I think I just want to catch you up, because that is very condensed. What we do is like the 30,000 feet view from the airplane down there, like just rushing by, and just like, these are the points here. But the thing about why oftentimes we don't see Zusammenhang, connection between, I know the German word sometimes, that the energy you get sent out is what you reap is what you sow. What you sow is what you reap somehow, something like that, It is that easy, but there's a timeline, there's a linear timeline that we get all, what are we? We're getting distracted by, maybe, because that is, it's not real on a certain level, on a soul level, linear time doesn't exist, but we created this time thing so we could experience and dissect our experience a little better. And then it seems like the energy of like we were there sitting with our doubts. We're like, oh, this is never gonna happen. I will never find the person that can be kind to me or whatever. To like maybe a year later or a week later, even a day later, we forget about what we just sent out. And then we are being abused in a relationship and we feel like we're total random. Where did that come from? But it did originate in that place of like not feeling worthy of having this relationship. So it's very connected, but because the timeline is in between, that confuses us. We don't see that they are actually totally connected. And that's it, where we want to put our focus on, like, what do we really feel? And that's where Bridget said, like, conscious or unconscious. If you're unconscious, it makes absolutely no sense, and we get totally stuck and confused. And it's really easy to understand that we want to point around and say, this is to blame or that is to blame. But really, nobody's to blame, period. But who is the originator, who is the creator, is us.
Deep-seated beliefs that we're unaware of, or that we're aware of. This is a lot of where this unconscious programming happens. Deep-seated beliefs connect to our emotions, and our emotions then connect to our actions. And through all of this, we are creating the story. What is it that we believe deep down under? What do we want to believe? How do we connect these things? It's all creating each moment in front of us. That's a lot, huh?
It is a lot. So, sorry again, we're racing through it.
So going in depth is really, really key to this, and that's not what we really have time for right now, but we want to give you a feel of not only the possibility of finding a soul-aligned relationship or a soulmate, a soul-aligned partner, but also that there are actual steps, there is understanding, there are opportunities, tools, practices that you can use. And those we have in our pockets, but we're not bringing those out right now because we have a lot more to share.
It's a map. It's a blueprint that we throw out here. It's not the actually implementing thereof. Yeah. So
next,
bear with us, please. Yeah.
What I want to say is number 2, the radical undo. Okay.
Spring cleaning.
This may sound a little scary, but it's fucking exciting. This is myth busting. This is blasting through all the bullshit that has become your story, perhaps involuntarily, maybe consciously, but the radical undo is this amazing, amazing step you can take. It's a practice where you start to discover that every story that you live by, every story that you speak out of your mouth, every story that you own as your excuse for not doing that or for doing that, every one of them is not necessarily your truth. It might be bullshit. Every one of them might be bullshit. And what we do here is start to bust the myths. We start to look at each story. We start to ask from a perspective of self, for me in this moment, is this true? So everything that you speak, that comes out of your mouth, that you think about, you can look at that and say, wait a minute, do I believe this? Is this true? Smoking is bad for you. Is this true? You know, people will have different perspectives on that. Relationship is hard. Is this true for me right now? What is true for me right now? And in this process, we eventually, the experience that we've had is that we realize that everything is questionable. Everything. There is not really a fact. You might tell me that this is a wall and it's solid, and mostly I say, yeah, that's true. This is the reality that we live in. This is a solid wall. But on some level, this is moving energy. So is it really a fact?
Even science has caught up to the fact that nothing is really solid.
Nothing's
it's
really
just
solid.
Like particles like dancing around each other. It's like life is like a big fucking dance of potential. It's just like, and you are the one who picks up the pieces and puts them together the way you want to, if you can follow the shifts and if you can be in charge of your experience and sit in the driver's seat.
And if nothing is really solid, does anything ever stay the same? No, it doesn't. Always moving, always changing. So the radical undo is really also about coming into presence. It's really about present moment awareness. Where am I right now, and what is real around me? But we're really blasting through these myths, all the stories. I also want to say that this is what the millennial generation is here to do. It's what you guys are made for.
And we're so excited about that because you understand this. You know, we came here to this planet and nobody was ready for it. And now the generation is here that actually understands it. So we are so excited to be working with you, to be here for you, to guide you into this knowledge that you already have.
So you've got it in your energetic makeup. It's in your blueprint to say, is that true? Is that real? Do I want to buy that or do I not want to buy that? So you've got a leg up on this, really. This is, you're made for this. This is the beauty of this step. Is there something more you want to add about the radical undo?
Well, I might want to throw in, like, if you have the time, just to mention that, like, what we went through in our radical undo and like our life uncluttering on a physical level, and how that can actually lead to, is very close connected to the uncluttering of the mental and energetical and emotional level. But that, just share the story of, I did that so many times as a single person. It's a little easier where I just leave everything behind and just grab my toothbrush and like a sarong and just get on a train or start walking or get on a plane and find myself in a different place and just see how I am in that environment, which is a really great tool of not getting very used and attached to all the stuff that I have around me at all times, that I get used to, that I get familiarity, and then get a certain comfort level, where in that comfort level, if you have everything, if you have enough to eat, if you have a roof over your head, you get sort of like, okay, so this is for real, and then you just kind of, I see that a lot. Settle for that. And that's kind of what life is about. And that's what I heard, and it resonated with me. It's like, you don't get what you need, you don't get what you want, but you get what you settle for.
Creator.
That makes so much sense, And on that level, it is very, very refreshing. I know a bunch of you people already do that, but as a family, we actually did that 5 years ago?
Yeah, or four or five. And we're a family of 5, okay? The 2 of us and our 3 kids. Our kids are right now 20, 18, and 8. And at the time, we all lived together. And Bjorn went to the jungle. He was in Peru, and he contacted me at the end of that trip and said, I don't know how this is going to be for you, but my intuition, which is key to this whole story, my intuition tells me that we need to get rid of everything and sell the house and move out into the world. And I've kind of freaked out for about 3 minutes. And then I said, okay, let's do it. So that was the beginning for us, was him getting this strong message. I probably wouldn't have done it on my own because I was pretty content. I had settled into a really sweet spot. Nothing wrong with that.
Doesn't have to look
awesome.
bad, right?
I had no desire to leave where I was. It was really great. But when this came up, I realized it was really what needed to happen for us. That we were here for something bigger than, what we had. Great community, potluck meals.
So is everybody, really.
It's
not about us. Yeah.
Has the opportunity to step into this if we so choose. And so we sold our house and got rid of just about everything we had, got ourselves carry-on backpacks, and all 5 of us packed those backpacks and went to the jungle and started to live in Peru.
And we actually started out in the center of the Amazon with our 3 kids, and at some point, so it was like a jump start. This is me. I guess this is my energy that I'm carrying, and I gotta drag the rest along. Of like if I know that something is right, I just beeline towards it. I'm just we're fucking doing this now. So at some point we were just living in not even a hut. It was open right by the river in the middle of the jungle.
It was
mosquito hut. My God, it was a in a cool way a nightmare, as a family, and everyone was getting sick. So I was carrying people up to the outhouse. I was just kind of hole out there in the jungle, and then I would carry them down to the bathhouse by the river, where I just pour some buckets of lukewarm water over them, so to get all their puke and off their bodies, and so. What I'm saying is it was fucking radical, and it really got us on track very fast. We didn't take years and years of gently easing into the cold water, but we just fucking plunged and did it and got it over with. So bam.
And this kind of space allows that question to come up. Okay, what's real?
Mm-hmm.
What's real? What do I choose? What is my reality? I can choose comfort. Right now I'm choosing the jungle. And lots of crazy things are happening, and there are a lot of places in between that and beyond both of those spectrum points on the spectrum. So it was really a jump start, a really good space for us to start asking a lot of questions about who we are and what's real.
And you don't have to go into the jungle to experience that. You can do whatever. I'm just saying this is the extreme that we took it to, and I feel the calling is so strong. And if you don't ignore it, we go into it all the way. And then again, what and how is that relevant to relationships? Mm-hmm. I guess, so you're sitting here, this is a very cool story, you get rid of stuff, you get into the Amazon with your kids, you're carrying people up and down, the jungle. What does that have to do with me? And what does it have to do with me finding my soul partner?
Everything.
Okay, that's it. It's nice to talk to you.
So what this really blew open for us was being able to look at relationship differently, with new, fresh eyes, with wonder, with curiosity, to look at ourselves with wonder and curiosity, and to look at each other. And to start to realize that all of these things that we've considered true, all of these stories that we've bought along the way, not to say that all of them are bad or wrong or invalid, but all of them, we took the opportunity to look at all of them and say, all right, let's just drop all the stories down to the ground. And then from there, start to sift through and say, okay, I have a different perspective now on me, on him, on us, on relationship in general. Now, what am I going to choose that is actually going to, what is the word I'm looking for? Support and nourish and enliven and activate this connection that we have. And that was really crucial. That was a beautiful, beautiful beginning to what we have accessed now, what we're living in now, this presence, this moment to moment daily commitment, coming back to say, "Ooh, hey, there you are." So yeah, back to finding your soulmate, huh?
I want to add that, like, as I look at it, is a relationship is just kind of like a house, like in that, I think this is also why I'm telling you the story about the uncluttering the house and letting go of everything, because I just gave everything away, we sold everything, we just really only had carry-ons with us, So what comes to your mind, or to mine, is like space, like if you, that's those pack rats, and it's kind of like the other name we could give this here, is like the pack rat begun kind of day, intervention day, It's just we really go like, and what we have in our house, which is, like if you live there long enough and comfortably enough, we accumulate, and in the beginning we just get like a lamp because we want to see in the bed because we want to sleep, and then we get more and more and more stuff, and then they get this like dust settling on shit, and then there's like knick-knack, and then there's like, and before you know it, the house is stuffy, and it feels almost like you can choke in there in a very comfortable way. And this is how a relationship is too. If nothing is moving, it's like it's dead. Life is movement.
So the stuff he's talking about, the dust and the knickknacks and another lamp and another end table and a few more books, those are also our stories. This is a piece of this is the shit that we allow into us, that's piled onto us from our peers, from our family, from cultural beliefs, all of these things that come in, and then our own choosing. What do we take? Oh, that story, that sounds dramatic. I want to live in drama for a while. I'll take that story. Oh, that sounds really sad. Oh, I'm connecting into that. I'm going to take that story as mine. And we're always doing this, right? We're always taking stories in and experiencing them, but where it gets a little sticky is when we just hold on to that story and don't let go when its energy is used up. And then it becomes a part of our life and of our experience, not consciously anymore either. So we're collecting all of these knickknacks and we're piling them around us, these stories about who we are and what life is about. And in that we kind of suffocate and we stop really connecting on a clear heart-to-heart level, and we begin to forget about our essence, about who we are and what we've come here to bring. Which I want to bring it to the next point really soon, if I may.
Yeah, and I guess I'm already there because I'm feeling that a lot of the knick-knack is also there, or the stuff. Let's just call it stuff, we could say shit or crap or garbage, but I don't even want to, like, that puts too much of a weight to it, because it's also okay. We are very much allowed to do whatever we want. If you do it consciously, and if you feel like I do just want to be comfortable with all that stuff around me, that's totally fine. That's a valid choice, Yeah. If you're on autopilot, that's kind of a bummer, we come back, and that's the self-empowerment aspect again, we want to have a choice. We want to set ourselves up so we can actually choose to leave everything behind or stay with it, and not stay with the stuff because we have to, or leave because we run away from something.
Choose consciously, because we are actually always choosing, but unconsciously is a totally different story.
Totally, yeah.
Then if we don't know about it, then it doesn't really feel like a choice.
And a lot of the stuff we accumulate to cover up, we want to call it maybe a wound or a trauma or something that we experienced in our early lives, in our childhood mostly. And this is like over and over again, the people that we work with, we always come back that there's some covering up and disguising and ignoring and judging, like that. I almost want to call it the original story, the story which created all the other stories now that we like, the one stuff that collected all the other stuff around it. And that is really the key entrance here to soul alignment, is to unclutter it to a point where you have space enough that you can actually gain access to this key story.
Number 3, come to center.
There we go.
So this is what we're leading to. So I want to point out that all of these steps, these numbers, these points, they're all not separate from each other. But we're kind of trying to lay it out like a map so that you can get a taste of some significant points here, but they're all very connected. So coming to center is also coming into presence, and it's also coming home. So this, I have goosebumps.
Yeah, coming home.
Let's just sit for a second there. I think every one of you out there knows that there is something deep inside of you that is so bright and light and exquisite. And sometimes it's hard for us to connect into that place, or maybe sometimes we get a feeling but then we push it away and go, no, this is just how it is. But there's this essence that we carry, each of us a unique essence, and accessing that essence, your core, your unique frequency here in this body on this planet right now. This is something that is so powerful and so also crucial to stepping forward into the world in that empowered creator way so that you can align with all the parts of your life that resonate with you, including your soulmate, your soul aligned partner.
Can I just say that to really put it into easy words, very simply said, why we talk so much about freedom and like maybe like if you I just want to have a partner, I just want to get my soul aligned partner, very understandable. We talk about all this boring stuff or whatever, because the foundation of a soul aligned means like super meaningful, purposeful, on the base of your coding or your unique, wonderful gift.
Your blueprint.
That is only possible if you are aligned with your soul. If you are not soul aligned, there is no soul aligned relationship. There is no soulmate. And that's also why so many people, they're looking for their soulmate, which is really, it's okay, it's not bad or so, but it's like you're wearing the wrong glasses, like you tune into a station, like into the rock and roll station when you want to hear classic. It's not working, So that's the soul alignment. You're tuning into your station. You're sending out your vibration, your frequency, and that will automatically, your soulmate is already living next door. He's already waiting at the grocery store for you, at the car wash, whatever,
magic.
It's not like the soulmate to find the soulmate is like a major quest. That's just a consequence of you being in soul alignment.
And what I want to add to that is that we can have moments of soul alignment and then fly back out of it. And you can actually meet your soulmate throughout these phases of life and go back out of alignment. But what we experience then is challenge and difficulty in relationship. So coming really into alignment with ourselves attracts more of that alignment within relationship, and even for that person we're in relationship with. It's all this magnetic, cosmic, chemical kind of thing that's happening between the two people. But if you're not in soul alignment and you happen to be with, you just know that you're with your soulmate, you're going to run into challenges, and it's not likely that it's going to last. It's not likely that you can maintain that relationship unless you find a way to tap into your deepest alignment. So
it can last, but the price is that it's probably going to be somewhat mediocre and compromised. And that's, right. I don't think that you are ready for that you are here to be on this. Right.
And usually accompanying that is resentment and entrapment, a feeling of being trapped. So a lot of you might have a feeling of what we're talking about. Most people that we know in relationship move through resentment and that feeling of being trapped. And knowing that there's more, but cannot figure out how the hell to access it, right? Oh my God, what a tough place to be in when you feel that there's something more and you just cannot figure out how to work that out or how to flow into that space of really beautiful connection. So, what did I want to say? Oh, this coming to center. Because we've moved through and continue to move through many of these spaces, it's a daily coming back in. But I have the experience of already having been through these spaces at least once, usually numerous times. And it's so beautiful to move through this process. And while you're in it, though, it sometimes feels really scary, because what this really means is you have to allow yourself to get naked. You get raw and vulnerable. And this is, again, a part of the entire process. But coming to center, you really have to learn to allow the essence of you to bubble up and be seen. And what's scary about that sometimes is that you may think other people don't want to see you. They don't want to see who you really are.
Actually, even what I notice a lot is like we are afraid that other people actually see us and then despise us, because they see how tormented, how imperfect we are. It's a time of staging yourself on Facebook and Instagram where everyone has like tons of gold in their basement, and they all have white shiny teeth and an amazing relationship and the best job ever. And that, it's the opposite of that, because if we're really authentic and real and honest, we don't all have the millions. We don't all have these bright, shiny smiles all the time.
Right.
We also have struggles on an everyday kind of base, and to be cool with that, that is part of, to actually be grateful for that in a way, to have all these journeys to go, because like struggle for me means like, oh, I'm leaving my comfort zone, which usually translates into growth is approaching.
Yeah, and we're here for the experience, we're experiencing all the parts, and we don't really experience the good parts without having experienced the bad parts.
Yeah.
This is an important part. And something about coming to center, also a tool that we use for that is finding your calling. And this is different than what you probably imagine. Usually the calling means a way that you're supposed to be of service in the world, something that you are responsible to bring to your life, to this planet. But the calling is actually something different, and that is, it has everything to do with your life purpose here, or your essence, your vibration, your bliss. So we do quite some work around this to come in to discover who you really are, what frequency you vibrate at, if that makes sense. What is it that you're here to bring? What brings you so much joy, so much aliveness and connection, that in those moments you feel like you know everything there is to know. You feel so tapped in and so connected. And so that is one thing, a tool that we use to really get to know ourselves better, and then learn to bring ourselves out into the world from this true, authentic space.
And that is also a good, a good tool to measure if you're in alignment or not, is that excitement. Is that, because it really is highest aliveness equals highest alignment.
Mm-hmm. Which is also part of the next step that we're going to talk about. But
so it's very cool to be aware of that, because really, and this is maybe a moment where we can just talk about what's so different about our approach, in case you haven't really noticed that already. Just it is that we are actually focusing on you in a relationship. It is not about the words you're using. It's not about the clothes you're wearing. It's not about which person you talk to. It is not all random or all dependent on the outside, but it's all about you and how much you are in alignment. And again, this is very empowering, and it's very different because most of those dating apps or all of the social media tell you you have to sort of pretend you are somebody in order to match up with somebody that you
think is perfect.
Yeah, like that comes as close to the movie star that you love as possible, you know. But we say like this is all a detour. You can do that, but it will not give you the satisfaction and the purpose and the long-lasting excitement and intimacy that you're looking for in a relationship. It'll be always on the surface. So most people will tell you keep it on the surface and fix it on the surface, and we are not interested in that surface work, you know. Not that it's bad or, you know, whatever. It's just like this. Like if we are going deep, we want to have like a deep, lasting change and not just a band-aid for you.
Yeah.
So no sacrificing anything, no trying to hide anything.
Did you hear that? No sacrificing anything. So, little side note in here, it's a major part of this. You have probably been taught that relationship is really about knowing how to compromise, knowing how to make sacrifices so that you can find a way to, you know, walk that fine line together. You give up some of your truth, your essence, your joy, so that someone else can have some of theirs, and maybe they'll give up some for you. Relationship is not about compromise, and it's not about sacrifice. Full stop.
Huh?
How many of you believe me when I say that?
Well, I guess we can, again, that's one thing we can actually put into our brain, and it makes a certain sense because all the sacrifice and all the compromise has brought you to the place that you're at right now, which is like, shit, I don't know, you know, like I'm confused, I don't know, you know, this place of superficial action and really disguising who you are gets you to a place of confusion, and that's totally fine.
And resentment.
But this is, so your brain is like, oh, there's something radically new. Okay, let's check this out. But it's still here. Now the next step would be to actually embody that. Huh?
And just briefly, what happens here in the discovery of how to live fully and authentically,
unfold my leg here. Oh.
Without compromise and without sacrifice, is that in the process of becoming really real with ourselves, getting really authentic, oh, this is real for me, and this is what I'm here to share in the world, and that feels really scary, but I'm going to find the steps. I'm going to find the way to begin to share who I really am in the world. This is the first way that we drop sacrifice and compromise. We start to get real with ourselves and honor who we really are and say, I'm going to let you out. I'm going to let you out, because this is what we came here for, to really be truly authentically ourselves. And when we do this, the magical thing that happens with the people around us, perhaps especially with the one that you love, your soulmate, the one that you're looking for, the one that you're already with, is that you start to realize, in allowing yourself to do that, you no longer hold this person responsible to hide parts of himself and to show up
powerful
in the way that you expect him to show up. So expectation is a big thing. This is something we might learn to drop along the way. We might think, we may have learned that expectation is a really good thing. It's how you get to the next goal. But expectation has not much to do with being in presence. When we can be present with one another and say, this is who I am authentically, and while it's scary for me to share that, I'm going to share it. And through doing so, I'm going to consciously allow you to be who you are and show up as you are, as your authentic self. And I'll tell you, it's really the only way to a true relationship. And most of us don't know how to do this. It's not the way we function in this society. We've been told for a long time we've got to show up a certain way. Bullshit. We got to start showing up as we are, with our flaws, with our beauty, with our light, with our darkness, all of this.
And I have the picture of like relationship equals adventure.
Oh, totally.
Always, and that doesn't mean like super scary at all times, you know. Just like an adventure isn't, you know, like it has these elements, you know, because without like say there's a container relationship, you know, like without getting into those spaces where you are almost leaving the container, you know, those borderline, those confinements, and maybe step on the other side, and or like pushing it a little further. And it can be painful at times, it can be scary at times, but without that, your relationship is kind of stuck in that container, and it just kind of goes stale after a while, because there's not much motion in there. It's all about expansion. So this expansion happens on the perimeters, and this is the adventure. This is like the unknown within the container. We know, you know, and it's comfortable again. We're coming back to that, but nothing is really happening, you know, other than like maybe like borderline boredom, comfort. Like in the long run, I'd say it's also good, you know, but we want to expand. We want to make this alive. We want to see what's beyond, because to make it like a sacred union, we have to go beyond what's normal, what everybody else does
every day,
every moment, really.
And while that might seem scary to some of you, when you start to tap into that, of course moments are scary, but it is really fantastic. It is really what we live for. I mean, really, probably all of us, once we know it, once we access it, you know, it's like nothing I imagine many of you have experienced, really. This level of expanding, and allowing, and curiosity, just to see what next, what now, what more, how big am I really? How big are we in this relationship?
Because this is a really good point to bring in why relationship, why, you know, if you can just be all in soul alignment and having our adventure, the soul, I mean, you don't have to have a partner, but if you so desire, a partner, like on a soul level, is amazing in reflecting and supporting you and pushing you past your comfort zone, if you allow it, if you don't resist it. And this happens all the time. Oh, she's choking me.
He triggers me once in a while, and it's really always, I mean, of course he triggers me. We trigger each other, right? I mean, we live in peace and in trigger, right? And this is always a reflection that I am creating, that he is offering to me, an opportunity for me to look at what is triggering me, what's really bothering me, and then to go in and say, oh, that's what lives inside of me. That's where that's mine. And then growth always comes. It's like the tightness of the fractal, you know, you have the big overview and it gets tighter, and those triggers get bigger and better. And then you go in and see where the source is actually, and it's in here. It's not in him when he brings that shit to me. It's always in here.
Reflecting.
And then when I can go into that space and just feel it and allow it and know it, then I go back into full expansion again, birth. And we're already really way into step number 4, which is what I wanted to just talk about. This is applying all of these other steps out there in the physical, energetic world. You know, this is where the magic happens, really. Oh, the magic is always happening, but once you've really allowed yourself to tap into who you are, to really feel your authentic being, and then to say, yeah, okay, this is who I am, and I have the courage to step forward as my authentic self. Now it is moving into the world and applying your authenticity to relationships, to work, to your body, to the food that you eat and the media that you allow in. You know, now it's about like being really conscious in the physical world and saying, what do I choose consciously? How do I want to communicate with this person? How do I want to exchange energetically with that that thing over there, be it media or TV or whatever it is.
Media or TV,
media.
Which is like a super big difference.
Yeah, but anyway, in this application, there are many practices and tools that we can, bring into our practice, our daily being. Practices like using conscious communication. This comes first of all when you tap into authenticity and you know who you are in this moment and what's important and what feels necessary to be shared. Then you find a way to express it, and you take responsibility for yourself in that expression. If you're in a relationship, hopefully both people are knowing how to consciously communicate so that you can really get somewhere with your story that's being played out.
And even already at the beginning, when you first meet that person, it is crucial to be
Starting
able.
now.
It's crucial to be able to somehow translate your energy, your emotions into words that are understandable and accessible for the other. This is like a tool right now for your first date, and it's like a tool for you when 20 years into your marriage. Whatever, wherever you're at. This is amazing. And I would say for us, it was like a pivotal point in our relationship. Which is like, it's been super deep and very clear from the get-go, which is already over 20 years ago. But when we first stumbled into the treasure of conscious communication, I remember being there and instead of saying, you did this and this to me, oh my God, how can I say what my experience was in this? Rather than putting the blame on her, you did this, take ownership, oh, when you said this and this, it made me feel like you were picking on me, and then you open up the space rather than pushing something on somebody else, and then you just shooting triggers back and forth, and again, nothing is dissolved, nothing is moving. And this, simple tools like that can open up the space for way deeper connection, and also make the other and yourself feel so much safer. And in safety, you can become more vulnerable. And the more vulnerable and safe and authentic you are, the more intimate you can be with each other, which translates in better sex life also, which is also just an extension of it. There's no great lasting sex without intimacy.
Yeah.
So this is crucial, this is on all levels. So these tools that we picked up over our lifetime, there is such a repertoire, I can't even list them all, but it is super fun to get to know them, and feels like going over into Tantra even, the wheel of consent. There's so many ways and tools to play around with.
Lots and lots. And I think, I'm just thinking right now, I want you to imagine, I think most of us here that, once you're married, you just kind of settle in, and eventually the passion dies out a bit, and then you get to be good friends, and you know how to get along, and each person knows their role in the relationship. But 20 years in, and I can tell you there's really a level of passion that I never even imagined when we first met, and that was a majorly intense level of passion. There are places that you can go when you access your own deepest points, and this intimacy and this allowing for each other to be who we are, that I think most of us can't imagine.
To me, this is like the codes that we're carrying, and this is like maybe the last step of this is here to really uncover and discover, and through all the steps that we mentioned today, that is already the work of uncovering the codes that we are bringing into this world. And this code is kind of like, it's a beautiful code in itself, but it also has a certain openness to another code that totally clicks and creates something radically, beautifully different and of divine essence. And this is what relationships are for for me too, and like especially like a soul, not even especially, but really only for me. I'm not interested in any superficial, like quick satisfaction of my desires, but like to me it's like that depth of really how can these codes click and what happens when that happens. And it's amazing. This is really the deep magic. This is divinity. This is
sacred union,
the big mystery, sacred union. And this is, I think, what we all want to experience here. I don't even want to say we're all here to experience it, because it's, again, your choice. You don't have to. But man, to get there is amazing, because there's like an opening, like there's like a portal opening there, and in streams all the insights, and you're downloading the universe, pretty much, the universal language and wisdom, and then you can operate from that place, which is a whole different place than just like right off high school, was what the teacher said,
And everyone is capable of reaching that point if you so choose.
And if you're committed and show up.
If you're really committed. So nobody can do this for you. Nobody else can do this for you. But when you're really ready to say, okay, I want to know, I want to be, I want to connect in with my authentic self. I want to meet my soulmate. I want to be soul aligned. I want to vibrate at my highest frequency. All of these things, I want to be in flow. I want to express, when you're really ready to step into that, you do exactly what it takes, and you get your messages along the way. That's another thing I wanted to mention, along with some of these tools for reaching this. Using your emotional gauge to see if you are in alignment with your calling or not. That's a technique that we can teach you. Using playful bliss connecting games is really awesome. There are so many beautiful tools we can use to just really consciously, with intention, come into deep connection with another person. Either someone you've just met or someone you've known for a long time. These games are always really beautiful, beautiful things to bring you a little bit deeper together. We have various presencing techniques, which is, like I've said before, a really important part of soul alignment and connecting with another is being able to be present, to be here right now, because those stories that we talked about earlier on, that radical undoing of stories, those stories tend to keep us in the future or in the past, and all of that is not what's happening right here, right now. It keeps us out of the present moment. So presencing techniques, different kinds of meditations and practices that you can use that are super powerful, really amazing ways to access this moment, because here in presence, everything is exactly in order. And when you get there, you know it.
And soul alignment cannot happen if there's no presence.
Right.
So presence is key.
And also through presence, what you can start to notice, if you have this already, you might know what I'm talking about. Synchronicities in the world, messages. There are little messages coming to us all the time. Coming to us meaning I create them to come to me. We see things, sometimes we see numbers 333 everywhere we look. You start to pay attention and go, 333. You might look up numerology and get a sense for what that means, or you might already have your own internal knowing what that message is. And these messages guide us along the way. They're signals telling us we're in alignment. There's signals telling us, yes, you are in flow, follow this. Maintain presence, be in this. And when you start to follow those, you meet magical people and you have crazy, amazing experiences that you couldn't have even imagined, really, except that you did on some level.
Well, I guess you have an idea, huh? Every one of us has that idea that it might be more or less dormant, of that there's so much more to life. And a lot of us ignore it, and we just keep on moving on like that, what we settle for level, plowing through, plowing through the obstacles. But if you actually open up to there's so much more, it'll show up in your life, and it's amazing. And all of that then is also shown up in relationships.
Yeah. I want to say, you don't have to worry that you have to get this all right before you can have a really beautiful relationship. But these are the steps. These are the broad overview steps of really your launch into soul-aligned relationship. And when you become aware of these, you're always employing them. You're always getting deeper with them. Everything is possible. So it's not out there to be daunting. It's just out there really to be inspiring, because what you want is accessible. And
it's a journey. It's not, like it's nothing you reach for and you get there, but it's a journey. That's why we are not there in our relationship, which praise the gods we are not, because the adventure and the excitement is there as long as you haven't reached. Because if I don't even what is that reaching?
Can you reach it?
There is no reaching, whatever, there is only being in the moment, being in the journey, on the journey together, and exploring with curiosity and excitement, what else is out there? What else is in there? What else can we, where else can we go beyond,
Big adventure playing field. I mean, that's what it really comes to. The decision for us each day to look at one another and say, okay, who are you today? And who am I today? And how are we together? What do we do with this day? What's right now? It's never, well, we're married, so this is how it is. It's with that sparkle in our eyes, like, whoo, what's gonna happen? What's next? And
what is gonna happen? I have no idea. This is the journey into the unknown. That's really what it is. To a point where we can, where I would even say, both of us are aware of the fact that it doesn't even mean that we will for sure spend this lifetime together. If it's not there anymore, then it's not there anymore. We will not hold on to it. It's also our promise. We will not hold on to this if it's dead. Mm-hmm. But as long as it's alive, we will be riding it. And from what I feel is this is not going to be over in this lifetime. But who knows, I don't even want to put my agenda on this relationship and project it into the future.
Dropping all the stories.
Be here now with that relationship and know that it's totally alive right now and it's where I want to be at every moment. No sacrifice. Yeah.
So.
That's enough for today.
That is totally enough.
So, what do you do with all this information? And that's a good question. It is a lot. You can play around with that a little bit and just watch yourself and watch it again and see what you can draw out of it. It is quite a journey. It's not impossible to do it by yourself, but from our experience, it's amazing, and you can plow through 20 years in 8 weeks. If that's what you want, when you get some help, if you get some good mentors on the journey that have been there, have done that, they can hold you in the process. They can transmit codes that you will need to accelerate on this journey. And that being said, we are open. We have a few openings for calls, for free calls. So if somebody is interested in one, it feels very committed and feels drawn to what we're saying and vibes with it, it's an energetic alignment. We're very happy for you to meet us on a call, and we talk about how this journey can look like for you specifically.
Yeah, and if you didn't already guess, it's what we love to do. This is really our bliss, this work, sharing this and, spreading the love, the ability to self-love and the ability to connect out there on a grander level is really what we love to do. So we would love to hear from you if you're committed and if you're really ready to step into your own empowerment and create a whole new paradigm, love life for yourself.
So if you feel called to, go type into your computer meetme.so/Brie and Bjorn, and you can schedule a call with us. It's absolutely free, so don't worry. And really, we're not salespeople. We're not trying to sell you anything. But if in the course of the call we realize, oh my God, we really want to work together, we'll explore the ways we want to do that, and we can set something up for that. But if not, no sweat. Then you just had probably the best transformative call in your lifetime with us, and we'll be just happy to say see you sometime.
Yeah, and
Beautiful.
What I would love to add there is that if you'll notice, a lot of the relationship coaches out there are actually single people. I would encourage you to reach out to people who are actually living the relationship wherever it is in the world. If it's not us, somebody who you really feel that sparkle with, that alignment, who are really living a together life of inspired together passion. Because the ones who are coaching it on their own are coaching a story that they've maybe read about or maybe experienced. So you really want to be aware that you're tapping into resources that really resonate with you, that really are supporting the story that you want to move into and be a living example of. So
again, meetme.so/.
Brie and Bjorn.
Brie and Bjorn.
One more time.
Schedule your appointment, and we'll see if you can get something, that you can just click on our page. But we'll just say it a few more times, anyways.
So MEETME.SO/BRIEANDBJORN.
So I'm so glad you did that, because I probably would have totally butchered this up. And that's another good reason to be in a relationship, because you have somebody who can spell and somebody who can't, and then you look a little better overall.
I can spell, he can do technical stuff.
All right, it's been really lovely to have you here today, and it's been a pleasure to be here sharing our experience and hopefully get you turn into the right direction and away from the old paradigm into steering into the new paradigm, into the dawn of an amazing time coming up.
Yeah, let's do this together, people. Ride that wave of transformation into really that world that we're all longing for, that one of connection and love and more peace and adventure. Yeah, and life, huh?
And soul-aligned relationships.
Soul-aligned relationships with your soulmate.
Because seriously,
calling it in.
We are doing this so we can see more soul-aligned relationships out there. Because seriously, we are almost isolated.
Come on, people. Yeah. Let's get together. We want to have more people we can really connect with on this level. Sending you lots of love, people.
All right.